I became a billionaire CEO and I pretended I lost everything. I begged my parents for a place to stay to see who they really were and they laughed and slammed the door. Welcome back, family. If you haven't already, subscribe and say hi in the comments. We'd love to know where you're watching from. With that, let's continue today's story. Standing outside my childhood home at midnight, rain soaking through my deliberately worn hoodie, I raised my trembling hand to knock. My heart pounded against my ribs. This wasn't supposed to hurt this much. 3 months ago, I'd sold my tech company for $2.3 billion. The headlines called me the youngest black female CEO to break the billion-dollar mark. My face was on Forbes' Time everywhere. But tonight I was just their daughter again, testing a theory I desperately hoped would prove wrong. My best friend Claire had warned me. Girl, don't do this to yourself. You know how they are. But I needed to know. After 15 years of building my empire while they dismissed every achievement, every milestone, I had to see if blood still meant something. The door cracked open. Mama's face appeared, eyes narrowing. What do you want? Mama, it's me, Emma. My voice cracked genuinely, though the tears were planned. I lost everything. The company collapsed. I'm broke and I got evicted. I just need a place to stay for a few weeks until... Broke. Her laugh was sharp, cruel. That's what you get for thinking you was better than us. Mama, please. I'm your daughter. Daddy appeared behind her, his expression cold. You made your choices. Strutting around on TV, acting like you forgot where you came from. Now you want handouts. I'm not asking for money. Just a couch. A floor. Anything. My brother Lamar pushed past them. Nah, we good. Maybe you should have thought about family before you abandoned us. His eyes held something worse than anger. Satisfaction. The silence stretched like broken glass between us. I could smell Mama's sweet potato pie through the doorway. The same recipe she'd made every Sunday when I was small before everything changed. Abandoned you? The word tasted bitter. I sent money every month. $10,000. Every single month for 5 years. Daddy's jaw tightened. That guilt money? We don't need your charity. But you cashed the checks. What we do with our money ain't your business, Mama snapped. You think money makes you family? You miss Thanksgiving. Christmas. Lamar's wedding. I was building something. I invited all of you to watch you show off. My sister Tanya appeared, her designer bag, the one I'd bought her last year, hanging from her shoulder. Please. You wanted us there as props. Look at the poor family, the billionaire lifted up. My chest constricted. That's not fair. I worked 80-hour weeks. I was trying to... You were trying to prove you was better than us, Lamar interrupted. And now look at you. Broke. Pathetic. Coming here begging. I let my shoulders slump further, playing the role. I made mistakes. But I'm your blood. Doesn't that mean anything? Mama's expression shifted, something flickering behind her eyes. For one moment I thought I saw my mother, the woman who'd braided my hair and told me I could be anything. Then she said, you stopped being my daughter when you stopped being one of us. The door slammed. The sound echoed through the quiet street. Through my chest. Through every hope I'd carried here. I stood there, rain mixing with real tears now, staring at the peeling paint of the door. Have you ever been rejected by the people who were supposed to love you unconditionally? Keep watching. I didn't move for 10 minutes. Couldn't. My feet were concrete, my lungs filled with rain and betrayal. Clara's car pulled up, headlights cutting through the darkness. Girl, come on. She wrapped a blanket around my shoulders. I watched the whole thing from here. I'm so sorry. Inside her warm car, I finally let myself break. Not because of the rejection, I'd half expected that. But because of what I'd seen in their eyes. Pure, undiluted satisfaction at my supposed downfall. They were happy, I whispered. They were actually happy I was suffering. Claire gripped my hand. I know, baby. I know. My phone buzzed. A text from Tanya. Don't come back. We told the neighbors to call the cops if they see you lurking around. You're embarrassing us. Embarrassing them. I'd grown up in that house with no heat in winter, wearing thrift store clothes while kids mocked me. I'd studied by streetlight when the electricity got cut off. I'd gotten a full scholarship to MIT while working 3 jobs, sending money home the moment I could. And I was embarrassing them. You know what the worst part is? I stared at my phone. I actually thought they'd surprise me. I thought maybe, despite everything, family would show up. Claire started the car. What are you going to do? That's when the fire started. Not anger. Something colder, more focused. I'd spent 15 years trying to earn their love, their approval, their basic respect. I'd succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams, and it still wasn't enough. Maybe it was time to stop trying. Take me to my lawyer's office, I said quietly. Lamar? It's 1 a.m. He'll answer. I pay him enough. Clara studied my face, then nodded. Lamar Hooper, my attorney, looked alert despite the hour. His office in the downtown high-rise gleamed with ambient lighting. Emma? What's wrong? I need information. Everything on 4725 Oakwood Street. Who owns it? What's the mortgage situation? Property taxes, liens, everything. He typed rapidly. That's your parents' house, right? Not for long. His eyebrows rose, but he knew better than to question me. Pulling it up now. Okay, interesting. The property is owned by Robert and Diane Jimenez, your parents. But there's a reverse mortgage that's severely delinquent. They've missed 6 payments. My heart rate picked up. How much do they owe? Outstanding balance is $287,000. The lender is Meridian Capital. They've initiated foreclosure proceedings. Your parents have 60 days before auction. I leaned back, my mind racing. Can I buy the note? The mortgage note? Technically yes, but... Do it. Tomorrow. Whatever it cost. I want to own their debt. Emma. Lamar's voice held warning. I understand you're upset, but this is... They laughed at me. My voice cracked. I stood there in the rain, begging for basic human decency, and they laughed. Then they slammed the door in my face. His expression softened. I'm sorry, but revenge. This isn't revenge. It's consequences. I stood staring out at the city I'd conquered. They've been living in that house for 30 years. My first paycheck, I paid off their car. My first bonus, I paid their medical bills. I've given them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when I needed them most, even fake needed them, they celebrated my suffering. So what's the end game? I turned to face him. I want them to understand what they threw away. 3 days later, I own my parents' mortgage. Meridian Capital had been thrilled to offload a non-performing loan to a cash buyer. Cost me $320,000, but it was worth every penny. I didn't tell them immediately. I wanted to watch. To see what they'd do when the consequences started materializing. Meanwhile, my CFO called. The Waters project launch is in 2 weeks. Press is asking if you're ready for the announcement. The Waters project. My baby. A technology that could purify water in developing nations for pennies per gallon. 18 months of development, $500 million invested, and it was finally ready. The announcement would push my net worth past $3 billion. I'm ready, I said. But Michelle? Keep it quiet. No press releases until the launch. You don't want the buzz? I want the impact to hit all at once. That evening, Claire came over with wine and Chinese food. You sure about this? There's no going back once you... I'm sure. I showed her the foreclosure notice I'd had prepared. This gets delivered tomorrow. He read it, wincing. 30 days to vacate or pay in full. Damnedest. That's harsh. You know what's harsh? My brother texted me yesterday. Said I should learn my lesson about humility. Him. The man who's never held a job longer than 6 months. Who I gave $50,000 to start that barbershop that failed in 3 months. What about your sister? Posted on social media about family who forgets where they come from. Got 300 likes. People were commenting about how ungrateful I am, how success ruined me. I took a long sip of wine. They're telling everyone I lost everything, by the way. That I'm homeless and desperate. Someone sent me screenshots. Claire's mouth fell open. They're lying about you publicly? Building their narrative. I'm the villain in their story. Then show them who you really are. I had the foreclosure notice delivered by courier at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. I knew they'd be home. Daddy never missed his Saturday morning coffee on the porch. I watched from Claire's car 2 blocks away. The courier handed over the envelope. Daddy's confused expression. I'm calling Mama outside. The moment they opened it, even from this distance I could see the color drain from their faces. My phone rang within 5 minutes. Mama. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. 12 times in 20 minutes. Then Lamar called. Jazzy baby please. We can talk about this. There's been a misunderstanding. Then Tanya. You can't do this. This is our family home. I blocked them all. That afternoon they showed up at my penthouse. The doorman called up. Miss Jimenez? Your family is here. Should I tell them I'm not available? They're quite insistent, ma'am. Your mother is crying. My hand tightened on the phone. Tell them to read the notice. All communications go through my attorney. Through my window 53 floors up, I watched the city sparkle. Somewhere down there my family was panicking. Learning that actions have consequences. That the daughter they dismissed was the only thing standing between them and homelessness. My assistant buzzed. Miss Jimenez? There's a reporter from the Tribune downstairs. Says your family is giving an interview about financial elder abuse. I laughed, the sound bitter. Of course they are. Let them. Lamar has all the receipts. Every transfer, every gift, every rejected invitation. Should we prepare a statement? Not yet. Let them dig their own grave first. Claire came over that night looking worried. It's all over social media. Your mom is crying on camera, saying you're evicting them out of spite. I know. Jazz, the optics will change. Trust me. This is where things get really complicated. Stay with me. The next week was psychological warfare. They tried everything. Mama showed up at my office building, making a scene in the lobby until security escorted her out. I raised you. 9 months I carried you. This is how you repay me. Tanya posted a GoFundMe. Help save our family home from greedy sister. It raised $3,000 before I had it taken down for defamation. Lamar tried a different angle. Manipulation. He called from a number I didn't recognize. I answered thinking it was business. Jazzy, it's me. Don't hang up. His voice was smooth, calculated. Look, I was wrong. We all were. But you're proving us right. You've changed. The sister I knew wouldn't destroy her own family. The sister you knew died in the rain on your doorstep, I said calmly. The woman who replaced her learned a valuable lesson about unconditional love being very, very conditional. This is about that night. You were testing us. I was hoping. There's a difference. I stared at the contracts on my desk. Waters Project final agreements. I came to you with nothing and you gave me nothing. Now you come to me with nothing, expecting everything. We're family. You slammed that door, Lamar. Literally and figuratively. I'm just closing the lock. He switched tactics. What about Grandma Rose? She lived in that house. She died in that house. You'd disrespect her memory like this. That one stung. Grandma Rose had been my champion, the only one who believed I'd succeed. She'd passed 5 years ago, leaving me her pearl necklace and a note. Don't let them dim your light, baby girl. Grandma Rose would understand, I said quietly. She knew what you all were. She warned me. I hung up. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Grandma's face, wondering if she'd be proud or disappointed. Then I remembered her at my college graduation, the only family member who came. They're scared of you, she'd whispered. Success terrifies unsuccessful people. Drop a like if you understand her pain right now. 2 days before the foreclosure deadline, the Waters Project launched. The press conference was massive. CNN, Bloomberg, international outlets. I stood at the podium in my red power suit, confident and composed. The Waters Project will provide clean drinking water to 50 million people within 5 years, I announced. We've partnered with governments across 3 continents. This technology will save lives. The crowd erupted. Questions flew. Ms. Jimenez, this makes you one of the most influential tech leaders globally. How does it feel? It feels like purpose, I said. I grew up without much, but I always had enough. This is about ensuring everyone has enough. There are rumors about a family dispute. My personal life remains personal, I cut in smoothly. But I will say this, success reveals character. Sometimes that revelation is painful. Sometimes it's necessary. And sometimes the family you choose is stronger than the family you're born into. After the press conference, my notifications exploded. The stock market responded. My net worth jumped to $3.2 billion. I was trending worldwide. And my family was watching. Lamar called from yet another new number. You're worth $3 billion and you're still evicting us? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? I laughed, the sound hollow. I offered you everything. I invited you to every milestone. You chose mockery over support. You chose satisfaction over compassion when you thought I was suffering. Now you want to know what's wrong with me? Jazz, please. You have 48 hours. The house goes to auction or you pay the full amount. There is no third option. We don't have $287,000. Consequences rarely come with convenient payment plans, Lamar. I disconnected the call. Clara found me on my balcony an hour later, staring at nothing. You okay? I don't know anymore. Second thoughts. Not about what I'm doing. About what it means that I have to do it. The courthouse steps were crowded. Property auctions always drew investors looking for deals. I stood in the back, baseball cap pulled low, watching my family arrive. Mama looked smaller, somehow aged. Daddy's shoulders slumped. Tanya was crying loudly, playing to the small crowd of neighbors who'd come. Lamar stood apart, jaw clenched, scanning the crowd. The auctioneer began. 4725 Oakwood Street, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet. Starting bid at $287,000 to satisfy the outstanding debt. Silence. Properties in that neighborhood rarely went for that much anymore. $287,000? Anyone? A developer I recognized raised his hand. I'll start at $200,000. Sir, the minimum bid is the outstanding debt amount. Lamar suddenly shouted, this is illegal. Our sister owns the debt. This is a conflict of interest. The auctioneer consulted his paperwork. The debt is owned by Emma Jimenez through Crown Holdings LLC. All legal and filed properly. Any legitimate bids? The developer shrugged and walked away. Too expensive for that neighborhood. $287,000? The auctioneer called again. Mama was sobbing now. Real broken sobs. Please somebody. It's our home. 30 years. Our whole lives. Nobody moved. Going once at $287,000 minimum. Tanya screamed, you're all heartless. This is a family. Going twice. I stepped forward, pulling off my cap. The crowd parted. My family's faces went from despair to shock to something darker. 300,000, I said clearly. Cash. Mama's knees buckled. Daddy caught her. Lamar looked like he wanted to charge me. The auctioneer nodded. Sold to bidder number 47 for $300,000. Congratulations, Ms. Jimenez. I walked up, signed the papers and turned to face them. You have 30 days to vacate, I said. If you need boxes, I'll have some delivered. Lamar lunged. 2 deputies grabbed him. You evil. Careful, I said softly. These proceedings are recorded. I chose December 15th for the eviction date. Exactly 10 days before Christmas. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone, especially not my family. The formal notice was delivered by sheriff's deputies. I wasn't there, I couldn't be. Despite everything, I wasn't strong enough to watch that moment. But Claire was. She video called me, her face somber. Jazz, you sure you want to see this? I need to. The deputies knocked. Daddy answered, his face ashen when he saw the uniforms. They handed him the notice. Mama appeared behind him, reading over his shoulder. Christmas. Mama whispered. She's doing this at Christmas? The deputy, an older black man, shifted uncomfortably. Ma'am, you've had 30 days notice. We're here to ensure the process is clear. You have 10 days to remove all possessions and vacate the premises. Our daughter owns this house. Daddy said, his voice breaking. Our own daughter. Sir, I'm sorry, but we raised her. Mama's voice cracked. We gave her everything. This is how she repays us. I flinched. Claire caught it. You want me to turn this off? No. I needed to see. Needed to feel it. Tanya emerged from inside, taking one look at the deputies and the notice before turning to stare directly at Claire's phone, as if she knew I was watching. I hope you're happy, she said coldly. I hope destroying your family makes you feel powerful, you heartless. The deputy cut her off. Ma'am, please. Lamar was the last to appear. Unlike the others, he looked angry rather than devastated. This isn't over, Emma, he shouted toward the phone. You think you've won? You've just shown the whole world who you really are. The deputies left. My family stood in the doorway of the home they'd soon lose, holding that paper, and I watched from my penthouse. Jazz. Clara's voice was gentle. Talk to me. I don't feel powerful, I whispered. I feel empty. This is the moment everything changes. Keep watching. Christmas week arrived cold and bitter. My phone had been silent for days. My family had finally stopped calling. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt hollow. The Waters Project was being celebrated globally. I'd been named one of Time's most influential people. My company's stock had split twice. I had everything I'd ever dreamed of. Except on Christmas Eve, I stood alone in my penthouse, staring at the city lights, thinking about childhood Christmases. Mama's sweet potato pie. Daddy's terrible singing. Even Lamar and Tanya, back when we'd been allies instead of enemies. My phone rang. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Jazzy. It was Grandma Rose's sister, my great-aunt Carol. Baby, I need you to listen. Aunt Carol? How did you? Your mama gave me this number years ago, made me promise to only use it for emergencies. Her voice was grave. Baby, your daddy had a heart attack. He's at Mercy Hospital. It's bad. Everything stopped. What? The stress, the eviction. He collapsed this morning. Your mama asked me to call. She's too proud, but baby, he's asking for you. I was moving before I decided to, grabbing my keys. I'm coming. Emma, wait. You should know, she hesitated. They've been living in their car for the past week. The shelter was full. Your mama didn't want you to know. My stomach dropped. Their car. They had too much pride to tell you. But baby, whatever happened between y'all, he's your daddy. And he might not make it through the night. I drove 90 miles an hour to Mercy Hospital, my heart hammering. Whatever anger I'd carried, whatever justification, none of it mattered against the possibility of losing him. The ICU waiting room was empty except for Mama. She looked destroyed, hair unkempt, clothes wrinkled, face tracked with tears. When she saw me, something crumbled in her expression. Jazzy. Where is he? Room 407. But they only allow immediate family and, she paused, the irony hitting us both. I told them you were his daughter. They let me give permission. Daddy looked so small in that hospital bed, tubes and wires connecting him to machines that beeped rhythmically. His eyes were closed, his breathing shallow. I pulled a chair close, taking his hand. Daddy. My voice cracked. It's Emma. I'm here. His eyes fluttered open, unfocused. Jazzy? Baby girl. I'm here. I'm sorry, he whispered. So sorry. We were wrong. So wrong. Mama appeared in the doorway. The nurse had allowed her in too. She stood there, tears streaming, and for the first time in years I saw my mother. Not the bitter woman who'd slammed the door, but the woman who'd raised me. Why? The word came out broken. Why did you turn on me? Mama sank into the other chair. Fear. Stupid, ugly fear. She wiped her eyes. When you started succeeding, really succeeding, you became this thing we couldn't understand. You spoke different, dressed different, lived in a world we'd never touch. So you pushed me away? We pushed you away before you could leave us, Daddy breathed. Before you realized you were too good for us. I never thought that. Never. But we did, Mama said. Lamar lost his business and there you were on TV announcing $1 million deals. Tanya couldn't afford her rent and you were buying penthouses. Every success you had reminded us of every failure we lived with. So you wanted me to fail? We wanted you to need us, Daddy whispered. We wanted to matter. The machines beeped. A monitor alarm went off. Nurses rushed in. You need to leave, one said urgently. I stood frozen as they worked on him. Mama grabbed my hand, the first time she touched me with affection in years. If he doesn't make it, she whispered, I need you to know, we were proud. Every single day. We just didn't know how to carry our shame and your pride at the same time. They stabilized him. The doctor emerged 30 minutes later. He'll survive, she said. But he needs rest, reduced stress, and ongoing care. I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt the weight of everything I'd done. Don't go anywhere, the ending will break your heart. Daddy survived, but something in me didn't. I bought them a modest house outside the city. Not the old house, they could never go back there, and honestly neither could I. I set up a trust that would cover their expenses for life. I paid for Daddy's treatment, for therapy for all of them, for Lamar's new business venture and Tanya's education. I gave them everything they'd asked for that rainy night, and everything they hadn't. But I couldn't forgive them. And they couldn't forgive themselves. We saw each other on holidays, awkward and painful. Mama would cook, Daddy would try to joke, Lamar and Tanya would avoid eye contact. We'd sit around the table like strangers playing house, each of us knowing we'd broken something that couldn't be fixed. 6 months after the eviction, Mama called me. Your daddy wants to talk to you. Really talk. I drove out on a Sunday. We sat on their new porch. My porch, I'd bought it, drinking sweet tea. I'm dying, Jazzy, he said simply. Cancer. Stage 4. I have maybe 6 months. The tea glass slipped from my hand. What? Found out last week. I wanted you to hear it from me. He took my hand. I need you to know something. What happened, the door, the cruelty, it wasn't about you. It was never about you. Then what was it about? It was about a man who worked 40 years and had nothing to show for it, watching his daughter become everything he couldn't be. It was about feeling useless in your success. His eyes filled. I spent your whole childhood telling you that you could be anything, and when you actually did it, I couldn't handle it. That's on me. Not you. Never you. Daddy. Let me finish. He squeezed my hand. You were right to test us. Right to want basic decency. Right to expect your family to show up. We failed. And you were right to walk away. I didn't walk away. I burned it all down. You set a boundary. A harsh one maybe. But necessary. He smiled sadly. Your grandma would have been proud. She always said you had steel in your spine. He died 4 months later on a Tuesday morning in October. Mama called me, her voice empty. He's gone. The funeral was small. Afterward, standing at his grave, Mama turned to me. I can't fix what we broke, she said. I can't give you back the family you deserved. But I want you to know you were right. About all of it. And I'm sorry. I wanted to forgive her. Wanted to fold her in my arms and let it all go. But I couldn't. Years passed. My company grew. The Waters Project saved millions of lives. I dated, traveled, built an empire that would outlast me. But I never married. Never had children. Never rebuilt what we'd destroyed. Mama died last year, heart failure. Lamar and Tanya and I stood together at her funeral. 3 successful strangers bound by DNA and destruction. We don't talk much. Maybe we never will. I'm 45 now, worth $6 billion, with everything I ever wanted except the one thing I'd tested for that rainy night. Unconditional love. I was right to walk away. Right to demand better. Right to enforce consequences. But being right didn't heal anything. It just meant I won a battle and lost a war. Sometimes late at night I think about knocking on that door. About the moment before Mama opened it. When I still had hope. I'd give everything I built to go back to that moment and walk away before I knocked. But you can't unbuy houses. Can't unexpose cruelty. Can't unknow that the people who should love you most can fail you the deepest. I got justice. I got vindication. I got everything except what I actually needed. That's the truth they don't tell you about boundaries and consequences. Sometimes doing the right thing costs you everything. And you still have to live with it. If this story touched you, please share it. If you've ever had to choose between justice and peace, drop a comment. Subscribe for more stories that tell the hard truths about family, success, and the prices we pay for both. Because in the end, I became a billionaire CEO. I bought my parents' house and evicted them on Christmas. I was right to do it. And it destroyed me anyway.